respected teachers, dear noble community. Today is July 6th, 7th, something after the 4th of July. We're in the Ocean of Peace Meditation Hall on our Sunday Day of Mindfulness. And the monastics, the monastery, in 2 days we will be receiving hundreds of teenagers. And so today's, actually today there was a discussion whether we would have a day of mindfulness, because there's a lot of preparation to do to prepare for the teenagers. But somehow it got slipped through, so we'll see what happens. We might not get lunch today. So just if you have lunch, you can share it, okay? Some days it's good to, not get the usual, and then you have to figure out what happened. I asked my brother, you know what's happening today? He said, no, I have no idea. But today we have a little Dharma food. So my responsibility is to share with you the practice. And sometimes the practice is much more fulfilling in a way. The people who love to meditate, they know that. Sometimes sitting and enjoying the mist in the morning, the mountain, playing with the clouds is so fulfilling that you don't want to go down to eat breakfast. It's like, it's a kind of food, a Dharma food, spiritual food. This is it's a great medicine, much more than even medical medicine, pharmaceutical medicine, spiritual food. So when you come to the monastery, you come to a temple, to a spiritual center. That's what you're eating. You're nourishing yourself with spiritual food. Listening to a Dharma talk is not always the Dharma food. That's through words. But there's a kind of Dharma food that is more energetic, and it's from your own making and your participation. When you do walking meditation this morning, and if you put your whole heart into it, you're learning to stop and not to run, and you can feel it in your body. That is what your spirit is feeding off of, being nourished by. And this is something I learned after going to a retreat. My family has always been Buddhist. We go to Sunday temple, Buddhist temple, every Sunday, listen to the monk. And as a child, young person, I didn't understand Vietnamese much, especially the Sino-Vietnamese that is spoken in the temple a lot. So I didn't get anything out of it at the temple. And there was no practice. It was go there, you listen, you eat lunch, and then you go home. My family would tell us that we would go to Chinatown in Los Angeles and eat dim sum after the temple. So my brothers and sisters, we love dim sum. And so we wouldn't stay to eat lunch at the temple, but my dad and my mom would drive us to Chinatown. And we would order a bunch of bamboo trays of dim sum. I like hakao and shumai. It's not vegan. It's a non-vegan food back then. But that was my kind of Buddhism that I grew up with. A kind of, you go and I see my mom, she lights her incense. She does her and then some stick falls out. I learned out later it's like the future, it tells your future. It's like, what's going to happen to me? And then you look at the stick and then you go get a piece of paper. So that's the whole temple experience. As a child, I just sit in the back, and I used to love watching old man Yak. His head is so beautiful. It's so round and full. And there's a window, a glass window of the Buddha, and very colorful. And the sun would go through it, and it would hit right on his head. It would shine through his head, and you can see his sweat beads flowing down. I never forget that image. I used to sit all the time in an angle where I can see his head. And you can see it flowing down. So for me, I think that was my karma, like looking at the bald head too much. So now I pay debt. But I did like the monks there. I didn't speak Vietnamese. I forgot how to speak Vietnamese. I grew up. But I remember a few monks live underneath the temple. I got to interact, and they're very kind. They know I like the mung bean pudding. Gì đó, đậu xanh đó, you know. And the Vietnamese, traditionally, you always make it, and it's a small cup like this, and you put it on the altar. And he knows I love that stuff, so he would take some and give it to me. And and some of it had ash on it still, from all the incense that people would light. So just share with you my childhood Buddhism. So I guess our family is Buddhist, and I received my 5-month finish training sometime when I was little. So I grew up like that. And the first time I went to a retreat with Thay, that's when I began to learn more about the kind of Buddhism that is practice-based, based on the practice, the training of the mind. For me, that was such a revelation. So there's a kind of Buddhism that is devotional and cultural. And it's infused a lot with the culture of the people. So Vietnamese is a lot of altar worshipping and so on. So there's a lot of wishing for something, or when you have difficulty, you go to the temple to ask for help from the Buddha. So the Buddha was kind of deified into a kind of divine being, kind of godlike figure that can help you by praying and hoping good things will happen. And so that's called like a devotional Buddhism. There's one called insight Buddhism, practice Buddhism, mind training Buddhism. That is the kind of Buddhism that the founder, Siddhartha, the young prince, the Indian man, he left and go to the forest to discover. Back then, there was a lot of exploration in India at his time already, of people disengaging from the conventional society and going into the forest to meditate and to overcome the craving, desire, the dis-ease that's in their heart that they see in the world. They know that is not the way. It brings so much suffering. So there were a lot of people going into the forest. And in the Indian culture, it's usually near the end of your life, like around maybe 50 or 60. So the Indian dream, not the American dream, the Indian dream is you go through, your first phase is, growing up and going, and then the next phase is your career and establishing your family, right? And then from then, you let all that go and you renounce and you go do the spiritual life. That's the yogis. So a lot of them are already doing that. But so it's only around 60, 70 or retirement-ish kind of age. You let go of the sexual activity, material possessions, fame, profit, and so on, and you go to the forest. But the Buddha is like, He said, I don't need to wait until I'm retired. He was still 29, and he knew that he had to find a way to appease his suffering, or else he can't offer anything to his young child. So that was his desire to learn. And that time, a lot of the yogis, they're into mind training, in overcoming these desires and learn to intensely train their mind. Some of them quite extremists. Have an extreme sport, I don't know how extreme it is gotten, but there's extreme meditation. You don't eat for months, and you just, eat like whatever you find in the forest. So it's kind of like denying the body, so that maybe your mind can be purified. So these are the extreme teachers that the Buddha came across. Slowly through rigorous training in those things, he began to find his own path that's a little bit more humanistic and accepting ourselves as human beings in the world. And this is the beginning of our tradition, finding not to escape society, finding a balance, and to accept our suffering, not to be afraid of it. I think the Buddha was the first to actually say, probably woke up to say that no, suffering has a role to play. So there's no trying to get rid of all our suffering, but to train ourselves to see the origin of our suffering. Once you have understanding of the suffering, then that's the Four Noble Truths, right? There is suffering. Where does it come from, the cause? When you understand how that works, you know the way out to happiness, to peace. See, the Four Noble Truths is so simple. And this is the training, how to look into our suffering and understand it. That's called insight, understanding Buddhism. Buddhism based on our own understanding of the nature of our suffering and the nature of the suffering in the world. And once you understand it, you kind of know what to do and not to do. You begin to train so that you have better habits, see? Then what did happen? The Eightfold Path. Isn't that wonderful? This is what the Buddha, folding his leg, he finally, oh my God, it's so simple. He almost like, didn't want to teach. He wanted to just stay there and be at peace. But he knew that he had to go out there and help relieve the suffering. So this is the beginning of a practice Buddhism, mind training and insight Buddhism. And this is what I came across when I first met Thay, learning how to walk, how to eat, how to be still. So in a way, I remember writing in my journal, it's like, where have I been? I thought I was grown up, but it looks like I have to learn everything again. I remember writing kind of like, God, I have to learn how to eat again. I thought I knew how to eat. In college, I eat like you stuff things. Yeah, I had soft taco, del taco. They're like that, and I can eat half of it in one, and I don't even chew it. Because you just want to fill up and then continue to do your my architectural. So much time was so precious that you don't want to bother with eating. So I learned how to walk again. I thought I knew how to walk, but how many first time here? Yeah. How is that walk for you? That slow walking? Anyone? It's okay. Yes, you enjoy it. Anyone fall or like lose balance? Yes? Yeah. The first time I learned walking meditation, like during the walk, I would sometimes feel like I'm gonna fall because I'm just used to like this pace. And so when I slow it down, I kind of lose my, I get a little dizzy. And I really felt like, I was like, I thought I knew how to walk. It's more like I'm used to rushing. So when I slow down, I felt like this kind of, I lose balance. And that's sometimes I remind myself. So again, those are the practice. And slowly, more and more, I just copy what the monks did. They walk slow. I try to pace it. I will walk behind a brother, a monk that walks slow to help me. So I would like do what he does. That's how I first trained walking meditation. I choose someone who walks slower than me because it annoyed me. I grew up in LA, so passing someone on the freeway is a culture. You do, you never want to like go kind of like and let everyone pass you. Well, I was very young, You let people pass you, you feel like, oh, come on. Like they can't do this. So you're like, ooh. And then when there's a lot of space between you and the next car, you kind of like have to step on your gas to get, you don't want to leave too much space because then people will cut in front of you. You see the culture I was going to train in? And so that came into my walking meditation. I hated walking like behind someone who was slow. Like, okay, okay. And I'll make it look very peaceful. But in my mind, I'm like, all right, I gotcha. So it's my habit because, I like slowing down, but like, not because, someone else is in front of me. So I had to train, you see, to walk behind someone who really is annoying me. I won't tell you which brother, but I think you know. I think my sisters know from that generation who's famous for walking like a turtle. And he'll stop and he'll pick up a worm. And I'm like, oh, come on. Are you kidding me? And and I remember it the first time. So beautiful. And then we continue to walk. Let's do a little breather here, the sound of the bell. Just feel that energy slowing down. In our culture, the training to rush and to feel like you don't have enough time, it's so ingrained and so subliminally in our culture that we don't know that that's what's happening constantly, kind of. It's like you sit out there and everyone's moving by, you're going to feel like, am I missing something? And so it's just ingrained in us to like be doing something or like, what am I supposed to be doing? It's you can tell, you can see it, and that's the challenge. See the brother walking slow in front of me? That's very easy to train. He's there, I keep pace. Don't pass him, just follow his steps. And slowly through the years, I begin to enjoy that pace. I enjoy that way of walking, of not rushing. And sometimes I rush when I'm organizing retreats or I'm like I've lost it. I do rush. Not that monks and nuns don't rush. We rush. But we know we're rushing. But we're still rushing. And we try our best to adjust, right? So we're not perfect at slowing and calm and peaceful, but we also learn to adjust and to recalibrate and so on. And so training in that walking is one aspect. Okay, I share that with you so you can see that the training to be present and not to run in the future is very related. You see the obstacle of us wanting, okay, what's next? It's that same, it's like that monk in front of me. Right now, it's actually not checking time, but checking your phone. Where is your phone right now? Don't move. Somebody sent you a message. It's a little dot. Luckily, you don't have a beep, but it will make you jump. Where is your phone right now? Just be aware. Oh, hello, phone. It's like a mouse. You feel that? Where's my phone? So it's the same imagery of the monk in front of me. So when we learn to be in the present moment, it's a powerful, powerful tool to get insight. So when you recognize something coming up, trigger, you come back to the breath. You see the training? Why we train to sit regularly? So that we become familiar with this activity, this training, this way of being. So anytime something pulls you into the future, pulls you because of your wanting, the dis-ease of not being still, take a breath. Breathe out, relax, just as you did at the beginning here. So the bell of mindfulness is the bell of mindfulness, but it's also used to describe the red light is a bell of mindfulness. See a red light? I remember going home visit and practicing what Thay taught at the red light. And just feeling kind of like this, not, your right leg, the gas leg, is like, it's intention. I remember practicing and recognizing at a red light, my leg is not relaxed. It's like, it's like minor muscle. It's like this. It's still, but it's so tense. And I remember, like, okay, at every stoplight, I would put my leg down like this. I would put it on park, and I put my leg down, relax. I remember training like that. And I was recognizing my leg was tense because I'm anticipating the green. And that was a powerful moment, recognizing that. And I have many memories of driving after learning the practice. So many wonderful trainings on the freeway, on the 10, the 405, the 5 freeway around, the 405 around UCLA. Oh, wow. I love that part. So they all became training. The monk in front of me is the image, but everything else is like, who is that? What is that in front of you? The future. Wanting something. So this is, right now our mind are really occupied with the future and with the past. So being in the present moment, What does that mean? It means that you're present with what is going on. Okay? So be present with whatever you're feeling and acknowledging that, first of all. And that's something we've kind of neglected as a culture, whether that's a minor dis-ease or it could be a great heavy suffering. So this is for me as a young person. I finally came to terms with that I was running from my suffering. So this practice, first time, helped me acknowledge that I still have a lot of aggression in my body, and to not, and then my anger towards my father, towards my culture, towards other people stems from that basic dis-ease with my family, my it's just being uprooted as well. Kind of made me kind of like not accept myself, wanting to be more white and less Asian. I think that was the kind of suffering I had, not to accept myself. And of course, superficially, I looked like I had a social life, and I was, going out every Friday. But in a way, it was a kind of running. So through the practice, the first time I saw that I was running from my suffering, and it's very painful to recognize that. You don't. You want to be okay. You don't want to. You don't want to feel weak. That's the kind of cultural thing I grew up with. A kind of sickness to not allow others to feel weak and to acknowledge their suffering. So as a young man, I suffer from that. I think it comes from my ancestor. So being in the present moment is to also be with our difficulty. So being in the present moment sometimes it's not always pleasant. So I cried many times. The retreat, I cried so much that I knew I was going to cry, so I would sit in the front, like where my sister is sitting, so nobody can see how wet my shirt got. Pretty gross. But it was so healing. So healing. That is spiritual food. So spiritual food is not always uplifting and inspirational and like high and mighty, divine. Huh? Spiritual food helps you heal and helps you open your heart. And it makes your goosebumps kind of go up. So when you come to the monastery, come to a retreat, this is the most precious thing that you can get in terms of food. There's food is in the eating. There's foods in terms of our senses, our music and our vision. There's the food of the heart. And that feeds your determination, feeds your faith, your trust. And you become more confident with yourself. You see the Buddhism? That is Buddhism. To become a real human being that is balanced and is okay with suffering and happiness. And when those kind of dance and have an exchange, sometimes we're not at our best and we're okay with it. Sometimes we're weak and we're okay with it. So our training as a practitioner to walk the Eightfold Path is to continually train like this. That is the kind of Buddhism that I learned, and that's why I dedicate my whole life to it now. To train and to share with young people and to this the people of this country, of, I guess, all countries, right? We, as human beings, we've kind of been, is it short-handed? Like we've been tricked after the Industrial Revolution and the whole technology and trying to make our lives happier. I think somehow we got not tricked, but like somehow we weren't told the whole deal and how to train, especially in school and education, and how to take care of our emotion and how to handle when things don't go well, our suffering. I mean, that should be taught in every school level. You know, I shared yesterday that one of the first thing I learned when I was in Plum Village, when I first came to our practice center, was, did I share this yesterday? When a plate drops and it cracks and makes a, and at the monastery, the monk says, "Oh, look, a flower blooms." And I remember standing over there feeling like, it's like I have to go get something, clean it, and not let people know that I dropped it. It's a kind of shame of making a mistake. And it was so loud, all the people in the dining hall looked, and I was like, and this monk was like, he relaxed me down, Thay Do, and it's the first time he helped me see that it's okay, we go. And then he walked me slowly to get the broom, and we cleaned it up. And it's like, and he was making me feel so okay. It's all right. It's like wonderful. Look at that. Wow, these two pieces fit together like a puzzle. And it's like the first time I saw anyone react to a mishap in such a way. You see the monk in front of you? I was like, oh man, this is another way of doing something. And learning to handle mistakes when we're not at our best differently. This also is a training. That is a kind of suffering that we deny, or that we are not told that it's okay. That somehow in our culture we think that a mistake is like to be, who did that? This is so violent. We need to relook at our education and our family upbringing. I would love to do a retreat, and I share this many times, and get a cup of orange juice on a table. Okay, everyone see the cup of orange juice? Nice and sugary. And I knock it over, and everyone look at the orange juice. It's dripping. It's running on the floor. And you have to breathe and relax. Don't go run to get the towel. The orange juice, you see your mind like, oh boy, that's gonna be sticky. Oh, all the ants. Oh my gosh. Who's the sister and brother doing meditation hall? And you have to relax. You see the lesson I learned? This needs to be trained in our reaction to mishaps. Relax it. Out breath. It's okay, God. Spill orange juice. How many of you guys have that with orange juice at home? Yeah? Or spill milk, they say, right? Yeah. When it spills, you're like, oh my God. You get really tense. Remember my leg on the gas pedal? And sitting here, I am fully aware I have to relax. This is my training this morning. I didn't really prepare anything, just chilling with you guys. I have to relax. Because sometimes I have to learn that as well. So this is a kind of Buddhism, a training, and there's many ways to train. Every time you come up here to Deer Park, you have to be looking with those eyes. What am I training here? What am I feeding myself? Of course, the brothers and sisters cook a wonderful lunch every Sunday, but don't let that distract you from the real jewel, the real treasure. And that one, nobody can give you, and the monks can't offer it to you. Only you, through your training, can touch it. And once you know how to do that, you become more confident. And you have this amazing spiritual power. That is faith. Trust that you can do this. And as a young person, that to touch that is very powerful for me. So we can come back to ourselves. Yes, I'm here. Listen to a sound of the bell. I can do this. I have done this. I have tasted the spiritual food, and I have confidence that I can continue to do it. Sometimes I would reflect on what's the difference between faith and hope. One time I passed by a church, and in front of their lawn they had arranged the flower pots to make the word hope on the freeway. I remember seeing that. And that continues to be a contemplation of mine between hope and faith. The first time I heard Thay share, and I think the only time I've heard Thay talk about hope was during the war in Vietnam, when the villages that his organization, the School of Youth for Social Service, was helping rebuild the village, and it kept getting bombed. All the social workers were losing hope, and they thought maybe not to rebuild it again because it's like 3 times it would get bombed again. There was a big struggle that they didn't want the villagers to live in the villages because they wanted to take them away from the villages and put them into other hamlets. They call it military hamlets or something. I forget what it was. To protect them, But and so a lot of the social workers lost a lot of hope. And I share that we need to go back and build it to maintain our hope and not lose ourselves in despair. So hope is very related to despair, a kind of dark space that sometimes we get caught in. We don't see any light. And we all have moments like that. And on the spiritual path, sometimes we can meet that. So hope there is to not give up. Kind of like you continue to build a village so you don't lose yourself in the darkness. I see that that's very related to determination. Faith, Thay sometimes switches between faith and trust. That one, for me, I can have a more handle on. And so when you continue to do this and you can overcome a difficulty one time, it builds trust, especially if you know that you practice and it has dissipated. Like my father, when I first had an angry feeling come up towards him, I saw myself wanting to do this, slam the door, go out there, tell him my whole deal. And I didn't do it. I sat there and my anger dissipated. I became calm. I became, wow, I'm glad I didn't do that. So that was a great happiness. That was my first time as a young person not to be a victim of my anger, my emotion. That's like, people would say, oh, you should go tell, you should let people know your anger, But in spiritual training, the one to conquer, the master, you want to master, you master yourself, and that will give you a different approach to handling your father. It's a little different than how we're taught. Sometimes we're like that, and it's like all right to let them know. But actually, if you're not a master of your anger, usually you cause more suffering for yourself because you'll regret, or you do things that are like very unkind and you feel ashamed for. So faith there is when you actually have mastered and you've held yourself from doing something. You see the food, you're like, victory, and you feel so happy. And that is the kind of spiritual food. It's like, oh my God, it goes away. And then you begin to laugh. I can still remember smiling at myself in the room of the altar of my parents' place. Smiling because I didn't go out there and release my dragon. And I always did that. I think my mom knows. I used to be a very nice person around, but once in a while, the volcano explodes, and you do not want to see me when my volcano explodes. I've done many horrible things. Like all the cupboards in the house had a hand hole in it, and knives would be sticking around. Sometimes I would get so angry. I would use knives in the kitchen to make sure it's like around the house. So that's what you can do with your anger. Destroy everything. And very hard to rebuild. So when you can master and restrain from doing that, victory. And then I went, wow, I can do it. That is trust and faith in the practice. So faith here is not in a person, a sutra, a teaching. It's faith in that you can overcome it, that you've done it with the practice. You can master your anger, and you've done it. You can't do it all the time, but you're going in that direction. See the faith? How to take care of your suffering? You can do it. You know how to be with your suffering without running away from it. I have done that. I have cried by myself. I have taken care of myself. I have stopped running to look for someone. That is what the Buddha found. Finally stop. No more looking for teachers. Just going to say, I'm going to go to the forest, find a tree, and I'm not moving until I really just stop running. Even the Buddha was running, looking around with this teacher, that teacher, this, that. Luckily, he burnt out. And then a little girl gave him some kir. Right? He revived and said, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. By that time, he already had enough discipline and enough mind training to really review everything. And then he found the middle path of not shaming suffering, not heightening this, running after peace. But those two have a relationship. You see the Buddhist path? It's so beautiful. It's so natural. The Buddha humanized and naturalize what the yogis are doing, which were extreme and denying the human body, the human form, and denaturalizing the system, the natural organic system of transformation, of going through difficulty and overcoming. So this is the faith, knowing that you can do it. And this for me right now is very important to know that, because we all want things to change in our society. What is happening does not fit what we want for the world, for our children. What is happening to the climate and to our young children, to the ones who are being marginalized and fearful. We have a certain notion of how the world should be. And to come back to this faith of it. And you know one thing Thay said about hope, which is also important in this moment. Hope that no impermanence, the law of impermanence, and things will change. That law right there is universal. See that? You just know it, because it happens right now, it happens, it will continue to happen, change. That is one of the key right now. And I shared this already, that I have in front of my window 3 sequoia trees that the brothers brought back from their outing trip. And each morning I come out and I say hello to the sequoia tree. And they talk to me and say, "Don't worry, you human nature people." 3,000 years. It has the potential to live for 3,000 years. And the tree there in my pot is only 3 or 4 years, they tell us. And it's about this high. 3,000. Put that into our calendar. You know, do you have a calendar? You know, in 3,000 years, what are you going to tell me? So things will change. The sequoia will change. So I just share that a little bit about hope, to put into perspective the human drama that is going on right now. And why is that? It gives us energy to not be in the dark. And through our practice, our cultivation of the Eightfold Path, our action, speech, and thinking, we can learn to take care of our suffering and the suffering of the people around us and in society. So someone who knows how to practice has that deep faith that through our own effort. So in Buddhism, there's 5 particular powers. There's called mindfulness, concentration, and insight. There's 2 that I always wonder why they, it goes with these 3. Mindfulness, concentration, insight. You know those 3. That's actually what's written up on the stained glass there. Smriti, Samadhi, and Prajna. Smriti is mindfulness. Samadhi is concentration. And Prajna is insight. Those 3 energy is the food that you get fed by here. You're mindful of what is going on at the present moment. Concentrated, don't get distracted. When you're concentrated, your mind is clear and you can see the nature of why things happen. The causes and condition. That is fundamental in Buddhism. That is what we're practicing. To look, anytime you're disturbed by something, what is the nature of that? You read a newspaper, you read the news, you say, what is the nature of that? Greed. What is the nature of that? Pride. Arrogance. Lust. Perversion. Right? Even with climate change, underneath is greed. You see it? So everything we do from our human volition, our drive, causes, effects. You see that? So we're all in it together. We drove here, we have shoes, we have fabrics, we eat bananas. We are participants. There isn't anyone at fault. We are all interconnected. This is what helped me to remove that blame out of this young person's heart. The way I was taught, there's somebody to be blamed. Of course there is, but that is not fundamental. There's some things we need to change, and we can work for that change, but don't be deluded that you're not participating. So this is something, the insight that helped me. And the other two, faith and determination. Those are the 5 powers, the 5, it could be the 5 nutrients that you can feed yourself. And faith here can be misunderstood, and it's been understood as faith is a divine intervention. Faith here is based on insight. You have insight that you have misunderstood your dad, that he also suffered. That liberates us from our anger. See that? So salvation in Buddhism is not from a divine intervention, but it's salvation through our own insight, our own understanding of the nature of why things came about. Why our father is like that is because look at the condition that he had to go through. Vietnam War, losing everything, new culture, can't speak English. You begin to see the pride, the nature of why they are like that. So anywhere you look and there is someone causing suffering, look into them and understand the conditions that make them who they are, including all the bosses right now in power. Look into their behavior and see through. And you don't blame, but you know exactly why that they are the way they are and why they're causing suffering the way they're causing. So you have this deep faith that you can transform suffering. So if you're a practitioner, there's 2 things you need to learn to train. One, that you can handle suffering. You don't run away from it, and you can transform it. And you transform it by looking into it and understanding it. Its cause, its condition, how it manifests. And that is brings you more faith. You can handle your suffering. And you can see the suffering of the other people and you don't blame them. You know why they're like that. You try to help if you can. And the other is to know how to generate happiness. You know how to take care of yourself so that you don't lose your balance. And if you don't lose your balance, nobody can kick you off off a balance. You see that? You can offer that to other people. Those 2 things, very basic. They need to take care of ourselves. We do that through coming back to ourselves, taking care of ourselves. And the other one is determination. Determination is sometimes translated as effort, sometimes translated as diligence. Tinh tấn. Tấn is like effort, determination, kind of a will. So that's very related to not giving up. You see how that relates to hope? Hope, if it's not tied with determination, with effort, then it is fluffy, is dreamy. Kind of like, I hope it will come, but you don't put your energy, your effort into it, the training. So your hope is a little bit diluted, they would say. The hope here is like you go back and build the village, and you do it over and over again so you don't allow your despair and the darkness to like pull you and hold you and become a victim. This is 5 powers. And those 2 are related to training in mindfulness, concentration, insight. Remember, this is practice Buddhism. You didn't come here to get something from another being. You come here to train. So when I share these things with you, it triggers your own insight. You can see that? So don't believe what I say, but when I share it like this, it's to water your own Buddha nature, your own insight. And if you keep coming to me and say, Thay, keep telling me what to do, Thay, can you tell me what to do like that? I actually would tell you, like, go home, you shouldn't come here anymore. In truth, it is more Buddhist. You come here wanting stuff, but actually we're all doing the same thing. And if you be dependent, then you're actually not practicing. This is the power. We need to generate this energy in ourselves. And this is what I continue to do here with the monks and nuns. And we have teenagers coming. And that is good news. And some good news that we have teenagers coming. And every year we have a whole block of new interesting things happen. So, send us your energy. We love teenagers. We're the only practice center in the Plum Village tradition that brings teenagers all together. And we're very happy with it. It's my favorite retreat. The monks and nuns will camp with the monks will camp with the boys, and the nuns will come down and camp with the sisters. We create a little pocket of practice there. And it'll be a lot of fun, a lot of crying, a lot of resisting, a lot of trying to figure out some. It's an amazing retreat. I always use the chance to look into myself as a teenager. And we have a lot of staff here. Just want to congratulate. And the staff here, the brothers are saying, man, you guys check out the staff. They're it's so harmonious energy and very wholesome. So with your energy, we can receive the teenagers beautifully, and they'll definitely depend on that. Another good news, we have Happy Farm. So before you leave the gate, turn left, go check out the farm. The farm is happening, and soon we will. We're forming a school as well for young children at the foot of the monastery as well. We have a lot of lay friends who are helping with that. Monastic would just play kind of advisory. So it's a new way to teach this in the school, a different way of educating, valuing human beings. So these are very wonderful news here. And more lay friends are moving here. I just heard from a mother yesterday. She came up to me. It's like, Thay, I just bought a house here. Can you help me dig a well? She heard that I dug a well for Happy Farm. I was like, it's not that simple. It's like, go dig. Can you help me dig a well? I'm like, But a lot of lay friends are moving here. So please, if you are in a position to relocate, move somewhere down here, and we build this place together, a refuge for a lot of people, and also for yourself to have a spiritual family and be consistent with that. So please help us build a different model of our society. very divided and very lonely for a lot of young people, for all of us. Please give us a hand. Thank you for coming today. We'll end here with 3 sounds of the bell. And let's come back to ourselves.